Champion selects the game. So far in solo queue, despite having us not seen Tucson on it just yet.
A lot of support bans,
yeah, going to be the ban. So
Lux is the god tier support. Lux and Rakan feel like the choices here. So we'll see if Xayah Rakan is something teams want to opt into.
Well, why not? You may as well just pick it up right here, right? Tucson is probably one of the best consistent Rakan
in Korea,
players.
especially.
In Korea, yeah.
In Korea is the best Rakan we have. So I think it's Xayah for sure, as the champion's often getting banned, even on blue side. The Rakan doesn't have to be opted into here, and I actually prefer taking a priority pick elsewhere and dangling Rakan, because if you see the enemy take Rakan, you feel happy. You just go for an engaged support and kill Rakan. So once you have the Xayah, the Rakan doesn't have to be taken straight away and be held on to.
Well, the Vladimir is going to be picked potentially away from having that winning top side of the map that Damwon showed was very effective against that of SKT. And Jin are thinking about a Jace. This would mean that something like an Elise, a Gragas, something like that will have to come out here on the Jin Air side unless they're going to play something weird on the bottom side of the map for Root and Kellen.
If you don't take it now, does that double ban undo a lot of your options? It's a fair thing for Jin Air to consider. It's a good call there, Atlas, when it comes to the jungle pool needing to shoulder the AP damage, or potentially Root going on to an awesome dude.
Could be an awesome dude, but I think that Sonar is a little bit more dangerous to pick here because the Xayah is already locked in, and then that Rakan-Xayah combo is very strong into that matchup, and I think I like the Lux pickup here. Certainly is probably the highest tier support that we have left available right now, and possibly even the highest tier in the game.
It gives some info that perhaps you don't respect Jin Air jumping onto Sonar as highly. Zillion hover here coming through. A cool champion. I'd love to see it because it usually means Kindred, Rengar, crazy jungle
I was
picks.
going to say.
But the hovers, we've seen the Rammus hovers many times before.
I think we knew that it was going to be the Rakan, but I did like the exciting hovers that did come in.
Remember, Cuz is a Karthus. Cuz is a lot of creative jungle picks.
I want Cuz to pick Kindred, and then they just last pick the Zillion, just knowing that Jin Air knew that it was coming.
What's your favorite Cuz jungle pick that's a little bit non-standard?
Oh, right.
I mean, Gragas is a decent answer. I would say my favorite is Nidalee. He was a really good jungle Nidalee in solo queue. It hasn't played too many games on stage.
I really enjoyed his Zac as well, especially on his debut in Longzhu Gaming. That was when Zac had just been reworked, and he was the premier Zac player.
And wait for Sejuani first pick to lead to a Zac answering pick sometime during this week. Not so much on the first day of patch 9.12. The jungler's starting to be dumpstered, though, in the second round.
Oh, we better find the Gragas spot. Find that Gragas. Or pick it away. Pick it away is fine.
Exactly. That should technically be a
Ooh,
Jin Air
Karthus even a better one.
Huh.
I don't know why I didn't think about that, but that would definitely have been the better choice.
Good Karthus games. That was with C's in the lineup, not so much Marong. So while he's been practicing in a solo queue, a little bit surprised to see Karthus. Now it fits the style, right? It's an AD jungler, but again, does mean the Gragas being threatened by Cuz. We're going to see the Lulu ban against Neon.
Oh, just insta-lock the Gragas. That's my boy.
Yeah,
that's what I wanted to see.
The moment it didn't get banned, it was going to get picked, right?
Oh, yeah.
So otherwise, it's perfect for the Jin Air.
Oh, well, now you can just pick Yasuo. And what are Jin Air going to do? Pick it away? No, they're not.
Yasuo also is really nice against the Lux and the Jace poke as well.
And also, they've got a lot of magic damage coming out of the Vladimir and the...
Now do you take Yasuo in really awkward fashion? It doesn't even really fit. It doesn't even make sense.
Yeah, you straight up can't.
Oh, no.
Because what, you're going to run that sweet Lux Yasuo lane? One of my favorites.
I mean, if you think about it, he gets his stun up there, he gets a shield at the highest level.
Yeah.
You
and
rush
another
Odin
shield.
Sensor.
Oh, it doesn't feel like good news to me.
Hey,
Evelyn.
AP jungler.
Malrong found it. It took him a while. I mean, he could go to a Nidalee also.
Rumble Jumble could be considered here.
Brand. Fiddlesticks. But Evelyn is going to be the choice, of course, here from Malrong.
Exciting.
Yeah.
First pick of the season. Kingzone hovering a Riven. That would be very hype.
That's a weird-looking Yasuo. Come on, Neon. Come on.
I mean, I'd be hyped to see the Riven, but sometimes you just go for tried and true, and they lock in tried and true.
That was the most obvious Yasuo pick.
Well, this team comp has a lot of team fight synergy.
Yes. This is something that Kingzone have also done a whole lot of times. The thing that I love about this the most is that they've got so much lane pressure on the bottom side of the map. Deft and Tucson, very reliable players in general, but now they have on paper a great matchup. Even though, you know, you can be pretty annoying with the Lux and Ezreal, but generally you'd expect the Xayah Rakan to do well. And then the 2v2 power of Cuz and Neon, and then late game insurance in the Xayah Vladimir coming in here. It's pretty beautiful looking composition from the Kingzone side.
Let's watch level 1, specifically around bot lane.
Can we watch the rest of it as well?
No, let's watch level 1 and watch it at 2x speed, watch it at half speed, depending on who you are. The reason why I want to watch it and inspect it is Lux can really run a train over Xayah Rakan with her range, but at level 1 she's very susceptible. So who is going to leash or run to lane, and how do the mind games around the level 1 come through? Because we've seen Xayah Rakan win the lane against Lux by all-inning at level 1. Think of Mada having to flash, use everything at level 1. Level 1, I think, very important for the bot lane, because if the bot lane doesn't go to plan, I feel like things could fall apart for Jin Air.
We have to remember that Def did manage to get his Xayah as well, and this is the most banned champion against Kingzone is Xayah. He is very, very good at this champion, largely to do with the fact that he is flanked by Tucson, who is our best Rakan. No one can forget his incredible engage that they had in order to wipe the floor of SKT, so we'll have to see whether it's going to work in conjunction on this particular Rift for game number 2. Kingzone fans in full voice, we have a look at beautiful skybox. LCK Summer 2019. Fnatic fan here in Cuz. Like it a lot. I like that he's right next to the Fnatic brush as well.
I like the pajama party that Lux has clearly been attending. She walks up, very deep vision. We knew level 1 would be active, it just, for so many different reasons. The bot lane is tumultuous, the Evelyn's in the game, you want to know what pathing.
That's true.
There's a lot of incentive to know stuff. And right now, actually, Jin Air know more stuff than Kingzone might expect with the ward and also the face catching Deft walk in. That should be an easy ping out that the ward has been put down. It was actually spotted by the Ezreal, who was watching. So, red buff vision on both sides here. No leash going to be provided, it seems, by the Xayah Rakan. Expected, because you don't want to fall behind the Lux.
Yep,
Lux also
up in lane.
refused to give it a leash. And Irelia has gone press the attack this game, so it's going to look for more bursty trades, definitely. If you surf on minions and then press the attack on that extra magic damage you get, can be pretty insane early burst, but it's a different look, perhaps, than we might have expected on the Irelia.
Rascal going for the more standard phase rush as well on here's Vladimir. We've seen a few spell books, things like that.
Level 1.
Yep. Big fight on the bottom side. Tucson even getting damage value with the Aftershock. And Kellen's down to half health.
Yeah.
And just doesn't have a lot that he can do. I believe took Lucent Singularity as his first spell also.
Now, if you don't get to the brush fast enough, you might have to check the brush with the Lucian Singularity.
Yeah.
One of Lux's power points, and we've talked a lot about them, flexible build, flexible keystones, like there's a lot of different ways to win lane, win game as Lux. One of her advantages that doesn't get discussed enough, in my opinion, is 2 forms of brush check. E on a short cooldown, R from a very long range, and even the E is relatively long range, right? So
yep.
She's just very safe, and that's unique because you think of Enchanter supports that often are picked to win lane, and we kind of liken Lux support to, say, a Jace top lane when it comes to giving that extra oomph in lane. How many of them are also unable to be all-in and allow you to contest vision? Because usually you have Karma support and you can't face check because
I was thinking about Nami,
you.
something like that. Zyra as well.
Lux even gets to roll up and check brushes, so she
Yeah.
really does do everything, and it's why right now she's about as high ticket as can be.
It's true. Even Morgana can't safely do that, even with her Black Shield.
She can get the gold from the W puddle.
That's true.
To be able to check, but it's obviously a lot more
and
situational,
And
right?
it's also shorter range than the Lucent Singularity. That's still better.
Only do everything is there for the Lux at the moment. But the lane control that we talked about is going to take a couple of resets, maybe a gank to reset, because right now there's control topside. Cuz is going to find out the bad news here. He actually doesn't spot the scuttle being started.
Yeah, just going to be able to check for vision here towards the top side of the map. Of course, Evelyn not stealth just yet, so doesn't need to worry too much about her lurking around the area.
But Cuz can now lurk, but lurking with intent, lurking after already vision,
yeah,
should have been granted because, of course, the threat is there that there's been a plant used, so no reason for Kana to walk up. Question mark ping.
Okay.
It's very low mana already. He gets his biscuit, though, at 4 minutes. You would imagine he's running biscuit here.
Yeah, should have that
He's
one.
not.
Okay. Interesting. 4 ticks over. No biscuit. Tells a story. I believe we had a look at the runes, but forgot to be too intent on the Ezreal choices, just because normally they're exactly what we expect.
To be honest, though, when we give all the info, it's much better for the viewers at home than it is for us, because your eyes kind of glaze over all the different options here. It's only when they're highlighted, like, for example, the press the attack full rune set that you know to look for, because if you don't know to look for it, you just don't see it, right? You have to be looking for things in particular. Root's looking to pick up this minion wave under turret, but Zyra Khan, during those awkward early levels where you might not even have an all-in possibility, get 3 abilities on their Rakan before anything good happens. The Ezreal and Lux, so happy enough laning phase for Deft and Boosters.
Yeah, Deft goes back, grabs himself his pickaxe. To be able to go back to lane will be, of course, that Essence Reaver start here. As Deft does like his Essence Reavers, was the first one to do it on the Lucian, and Sivazaya have been his best performing champions so far here in Summer.
What's it all building to is an intriguing thing to say. Well, very clearly team fights for Kingzone where things are clearly stacked in their advantage. But Jin Air actually have more than Siege. They have obviously Siege, and it's very easy to just fall into, yes, Siege versus team fight. That's what's happening here. But because it's Evelyn, the champion that warps the game just by her mere presence, the pick power of Jace Evelyn and Aurelia Evelyn has to be respected. A lot of burst damage between the two and hard CC provided from the Evelyn when that charm does enact. So with Lux also to be interacted with.
Yeah, I was going to say all 3 lanes you can play around.
There's a lot of single target burst. And what does a team fight comp with Gragas Yasuo often trip up in? Getting to a team fight. When you walk on your way there, if you're not with your mates, you're going to get killed along the way. So if Jin Air can stifle some of those team fights, it can actually mean good inroads for them as this game gets to especially the mid-game phase.
Whoa, okay. See you later, Tucson. He's taken a lot of damage, but not enough to kill him. Aftershock is absolutely clutch, but man, we keep coming down to the bottom side and someone is losing all of their health bar.
Got out of context almost. No Ignite on this lane. The exhaust not used. More damage.
Yep, another grand entrance comes in as Deft gets exhausted and taken down. A 2v2. Double kill on the bottom side. 1 for each Jin Air member.
Get the hell out of my lane, says Root. And the Lux Ezreal lane picked to have a good laning phase against Zyra Khan. They find their inroads against the best duo lane in the LCK.
That was incredible. Really well played there from Jin Air. They're going to be able to go back, get a whole bunch more items when they want to, but before that, this wave will crash against this turret. Deft even picked the heal, so doesn't have teleport to make his way back down to that lane. Just shows power of that Lux pick. Really, really strong stuff.
Let's get the replay to see how the first engage happened, because that was kind of corner of our attention, but the inroads here are big. This is a really nice lead for Root and Kellen. It means you can get that Athene's nice and early to be a siege goddess of your own in the Lux mid lane.
Yep, there's the knock-up, setting it up for himself. Does Neon, but Grace is dead before Malrong can do anything. Ultimate has to be used defensively from Malrong as Rascal had teleported in. Don't think he even got an assist. He didn't. As Tana, he was roaming down the river.
That was really well played by the Evelyn at the end to pop the cask with the ultimate, hold on to her own flash, not to just get caught herself. But nice engage, all by Neon doing it himself. They were waiting for a Gragas, right? They were in Gragas cast chicken mode, but the Yasuo self ability to pop the ult works big. They burst him down. Watch the replay of the bot lane fight. We get to see this. Kellen's on a ward. Tucson goes in short. And Root just turns, and Rakan is eminently squishy. This happens, and now Tucson doesn't have lane presence, right? He's still healing slowly. Gets slowed by the Lucian Singularity. If you don't juke this, you're dead. He gets hit by both skill shots and into the death chamber. Well deserved.
Yeah, fantastic stuff. And you saw what happens if Rakan does not land the CC. Double kill, double kill.
The double-handed kind of clapping motion there.
It's more like praying, I think, Papa Smithy, because this is Jinna, you know?
Well, moments like this do turn things. Neon baiting around no Predator sign until after he was already in the air, waited the extra second, get the kill. Malrong very smooth on this one. Not quite popping over the wall like Tarzan in the most famous Evelyn moment of recent memory, but still a great moment to not get the double kill with bot side.
Yeah, another light binding. See you later. I believe there was a Tucson there, but I'm not entirely sure. I can see a body.
Yeah, Evelyn is doing a lot of damage already. That didn't do a lot of damage in that case, didn't need to. Rakan went down fast, but that's Evelyn with very quick Runic Echo and more coming through. Some stacks already on the Dark Seal, and
I believe just had the Chilling Smite there, so that was mostly Kellen and Root's damage, I believe.
Tucson's playing to the Keystone, the Aftershock to be more active, and this does allow the Rakan to take more engages, but the moment you say, well, I have more defense and I go offensively, I'm going to show some lane presence. The moment you die once, you can die 2, 3, 4 times, Atlas, and the Aftershock's not going to be enough to bail him out.
Yeah, we're going to be relying on the jungle mid duo of Kuz and Neon to get the work done here as Malrong. He's hanging around the area. He understands as well. Kuz lying in wait. Once again, we're going to get the knock-up. Ultimate comes in, but it goes wide as Neon just destroyed. The ultimate comes in. Papa's clapping as this might be another double kill, but no. Not going to bite off more than they can chew. And Jinna find themselves 4-1 and with a 2,000 gold lead at 10 minutes.
Grayson Malrong just outplaying again. People are getting so damn good at sidestepping casts. These aren't misses. These are just mind games being played by both sides. They're able to get the kill there. Another kill goes to Malrong. And remember how we talked about how it could definitely be a pick comp if the Evelyn gets big? All right, alert already. Godzilla Evelyn imminent.
Exactly. Already has that gold bounty on his head and barely even needs to, right? Because there was a double kill on the bottom side. We're going to have a look at this one once again. See ya.
Tucson went to poke, saw Evelyn there because the poke missed, and then hit a binding. Got hit by a binding and died. That was a comment. Watch the replay here, though. Remember, you know what this is all about. The cast hits, he's getting the turn here. The cast comes in. Neon could have self-ulted, but the cast coming in was going to be his time to choose to turn. The Evelyn being there was a good reason to do so, but it all comes together, and synergy between Grace and Malrong is something we're talking about. These two players have been out of sync for most of 2019.
They have. It's been really rough. In fact, anyone that has been playing with Malrong so far really hasn't found too much, and now we're going to see this Aurelia get even further ahead in the top lane, just quietly. Tana's 18 CS ahead, and Rascal now finds himself under a turret. Nemo Plague comes out. It's a very early pull just to get damage, but it is going to be enough to stop them from killing him, and Kingzone do get the Infernal Drake in trade for that presence of the Evelyn on the top side. That life binding almost flipped death there. Tucson uses the Grand Entrance just to get himself back into his lane.
But always assume they're going to hit with the accuracy the bot lane duo has shown. Bit of a execution mistake. This is nitpicking, but Malrung walking up into Hemoplague range there meant they only got 2 turret plates. They should have got way more, but too much damage on the Eve. Tana trying to re-engage here. Even with press the attack, that's not a winning trade for Tana.
Nope. And Crimson Rush had actually just come out as well as Featherstorm comes in from depth, looking probably to clear this minion wave with the Blade Caller and does so. It's really looking like troubling times as Rascal does get into the pool. Tides of Blood is there, goes into his stopwatch also.
Get out of the ground, Vlad. He does.
Yep. And now Cuz is going to make his way in. Tana should die here, but Malrung's looking for Rascal. One more hate spike will be enough to do it. Cuz has taken down the Aurelia. Neon, can you save your top laner? Malrung's closing in, but the Vladimir is fast enough. Now Malrung's trying to fight. That's going to be the cask. And now Kingzone find 2 kills and an inroad to the mid game.
First time Kingzone's been ahead of the play so far in this game, a needed respite from the top side. The Rascal had been camped. They get a couple of kills. The turret plates in mid lane not going to be enough. High action game, Atlas. I welcome it.
Yeah, and Evelyn's base movement speed is terrible, Papa Smithy. I don't know how she couldn't actually catch up to him there.
She has heals.
Yeah.
It's not that easy to move fast in heals. Evelyn loved to tell us about that in the past. I'm not sure if she still does.
I don't think she does anymore. I actually don't know because we're on the Korean client. I don't get to hear a lot of the voice lines anymore.
I find every time I hear Ezreal, he sounds super obnoxious in English.
Yeah.
So watch the replay, 0 HP, and I love the little like head only of Vladimir and the stasis when you're already in.
When you're just coming out of pool, yep.
Very hard to out-mind game here. Tana has flash up, but I mean, where do you flash is kind of the problem.
Yeah.
And then, yep, wearing the heals, just not fast enough.
And how does she move like that in heals? And I guess Malrung hasn't figured it out yet.
Slowly.
Yeah. That's a roughie. That's a roughie is what that is. There's a lot of turret plates that have been divvied out here towards the bottom side. It's a bit of a Greek wedding in the bottom lane. As Deft and Root fighting at it. 1 versus 1 at the moment. Tucson off to the side and the Lux going back home.
Rascal is appreciating a kill back into this lane because he was behind the goal by quite a considerable amount. Do you ever buy Executioner's Call? It's something that Tana has been wrestling with his mid lane.
Yeah, there's another knock-up. Last Breath does come down as he's dead. The assist did come in from the Rakan as now Tana's turn up. Doesn't find the stun. Actually flashes to try and get more, but the wind wall just blocks the Vanguard's edge completely. See you later, Aurelia. And Kingzone have found themselves back in this game.
Best Yasuo of the day is going to be Neon, apparently pulling off a really good wind wall there. That was super cool. Later than I assumed it could be possible, but you're trolled by that animation once in a while. Nice outplay there. Jin Air wanted to salvage. They saw the kill coming if that ult was going to hit. It did not.
Even landing that knock up there onto an invisible target just to put some icing on the cake. Deft on the bottom side of the map is only down 5 CS after getting double killed in lane, so still able to farm very, very well. But hasn't got the turret plates this time around, and have a look at the plate gold, certainly in favor of Jin Air towards the bottom side. But let's have a look at this one again. This is called Dead Grace.
Neon always does it himself. What an honest Yasuo. Earnest Elf Yasuo incoming.
I think he's only ever been able to play Yasuo in solo queue as that. He read the animation.
I know.
Damn, dude, because that was a flash as well.
He was ready for flash ult from the Aurelia.
And you could imagine that Tana was expecting the wind wall to come up first, which is why he flashes point blank range. But remember, the wind wall comes actually from behind your model when it goes out and can actually block the things that are thrown if someone is right on top of you.
Nice.
Damn, Neon, so good was that play.
I just love that he doesn't need a Gragas to do his dirty work.
I love that this isn't Neon playing Lulu. That's what I love. I love that this isn't Neon having to play a utility mid laner. This is Neon stomping kids like he's playing solo queue on the Yasuo. That's the dream, Papa Smithy. That's the dream.
And his team doing trust falls that weren't guaranteed.
Yeah.
Walk away here. There's a lot of theory behind, wow, that's pretty good, give him some shields.
Yep.
But Kingzone choosing to give everyone their time in the sun. And bot lane, you know what? They've been burnt a couple of times.
Yep, Light Binding's going to land. Battle Dance is there to get Tucson out of trouble as Malrung turns up but can't close the distance. Cuz is here as Tana is going to back away and Rascal finds himself in a great position now. On the top side, 10 versus 12 is the level gap. Even Grace is only level 10 as Cuz comes in, almost solos it. Barrel for the finish. That's your last drink, my friend. You are going home.
And even though some of the barrels have gone wide, remember that Gragas, Cuz has got big AP
in
numbers
goes the quickness, the double charm lands, and the tornado is stunning. Malrong gets out, but the Yasuo finishes off the Ezreal. Root had nowhere to go, and Kingzone just turn it on in the mid-game.
Just picking a winner everywhere at Kingzone with their last couple.
They are so good at this game, Papa Smithy.
And Kingzone, even though some stuff hasn't gone their way, is so aggressive in this mid-game. Again, in a way that not all of our Korean teams have been known for. Game number 1, weren't able to do that, but they're trying to exercise some demons. Because we thought it'd be all about the Evelynn and where she's going. Instead, Cuz, who's hit 700 AP, Gragas from the jungle before comes in, just bops him to death.
Yeah, did Rascal even get a Q? I'm not even sure.
Tucson came out a double control ward with early pop on that ultimate like you have to into Flash Grand Entrance. Uh-oh.
Yeah, True Shot Barrage isn't going to land. Malrong and Kellen on the bottom side. Malrong is the reason why Tucson finds himself without a health bar or a Flash Ignite anymore.
That one doesn't lead to a kill. But action, action, action. No time for replays. That's the Cuz way. He gets 25 stacks on Medjay. He's going out of fashion.
And you better believe that he'll be topping the damage in this game as well. This guy does a hell of a lot of work. Was one of our first junglers to get highest damage in spring season. Did it 3 times, I believe, on his Gragas. And also then did it on his Karthus this season.
He's the most highly educated Gragas player we have. 25 stack Medjay. So what I think about with Cuz as a bit of a shout out.
How much is in his textbook as far as pages?
Riot Korea published the Pocket Pick Score Jungle Gragas tutorial on their YouTube channel recently. If you Google Score Gragas Pocket Picks, you'll be able to find a very, very interesting video talking about all the different combos, not just E-Flash, but also talking about ER Flash to get the extra, the fact that you can flash after the cast has been cast to get behind people, a mechanic not a lot of people know about. It's a cool video there, so definitely worth looking at. We're not involved in it. Just wanted to shout it out.
Still, it's Scores Gragas, probably the most famous Gragas player in the world. And Cuz is really making a name for himself on the pick as well. And it's a different playstyle, you know? The way that Score played it was always very utility style. He's a cask bot, you know, and he lands them in the most beautiful ways to start team fights for his team. Cuz plays Gragas as an assassin, and he murders people on it.
I'm ready to see some murdering because we got the murdering build going on here. Double pen into IE, static shiv. There ain't no Phantom Dancer to slow down an onslaught here.
And when it comes to the Gragas Yasuo combo, power level, power spike, that's right now. It's not even 20 minutes, but they have all the items that they want, even a stopwatch there for Cuz.
It's always a bad sign when the only 2 people on the Rift with bounties are Gragas and Yasuo.
Yeah, that's when you know the combo has certainly found something good, and that's why we've seen so many bans on this Gragas Yasuo combo. At least one of them does hit the ban list most of the time, I believe. 100% ban rate on at least one of these champions in our first series of the night.
And now they always need early mail to Jinair on when Yasuo and Gragas are together. Even the Rakan, of course, can be a backup here, but especially when those 2
is really going to be needed. You can see these losing singularities in the brushes.
But they have a moving ward, which is what Evelynn can be when she's not bursting people, and they can check brush. So there's no excuses to not really dot your I's and cross your T's, because otherwise, we know how this is going to go.
There's a cask out of the range of Neon, though, unfortunately. Does have flash available, so Cuz can just body slam his way forward. Tucson throwing out some quills as Neon now has found himself in trouble. The ultimate comes out from the Evelynn, and Neon's just too far forward.
Yep. Dies instantly. Evelynn does a lot of the heavy lifting there. An answering kill. Baron just spawns, but Jinair, as you can see, the Baron threat, even with all the shields off cooldown, they're too squishy.
You can see Deft here in the mid lane, just protecting this outer turret. And we're going to go for a reset on the side of Jinair. So Jinair still have a bit of fight left in them. Only 2,000 gold is the lead here for Kingzone, but I'm looking at that Infernal Drake. I'm looking at the fact that Kingzone once again have control of the map largely. Well, it's also falling down is good news for Jinair.
It's also the pace of the game, Atlas, because we talked about how this combo was off. Do note, there's no punishing objective to take because all the objectives are offsets 3 seconds till the next Drake spawn. Malrong gets behind and does a lot of damage.
And Malrong, I believe, picked up the bounty there as well, so that's a hell of a lot of money.
I'm guessing he's going to get... I mean, Raleig's could be argued, but I'm assuming it's going to be Oblivion Orb, just for...
Yeah.
I'm not 100% clear on where we're going with the item build here, but it feels like Morellonomicon or Raleig's were the options, and this one means more power. Another blasting one.
Nope, no, he just completed the Morellonomicon and then undid it, and it was as if he was saying, "No, Papa Smithy, I'm just going to build the Morellonomicon."
He knew LS was watching, but then he remembered that. so
Yeah,
it's fine.
It is certainly a decent idea, as well as because the Gragas will be healing a lot, even in these fights. Def doesn't have any lifesteal in his build yet, but almost has Infinity Edge done. Pickaxe on the way towards that item. Sort of quietly has just been farming, is now ahead of Root just a little bit, which is often what these crit AD carries tend to do when they're hoovering up waves after the rest of the team has been roaming around the map.
Yasuo has some good laning assignments here against the Jace in a short lane, but also in the long lane against now Magic Resist on the Aurelia is going to be even more potent in that lane. The Aurelia can sometimes whack him down with Mara. Backing up Tana, so this all tracks. Let's see what Tana wants to do.
Rascal's just feeling pretty comfortable, though. You can see no worries at all that an Evelyn's going to jump on him or anything like that, even if the Morellonomicon is completed. They don't know that the Eve is on the bottom side of the map, otherwise Kingzone may have flirted with the idea of taking down the Baron. As Hemoplague goes down, Rascal's looking for the 1v1. This is going to pop for a lot of damage. There's the flash forward. Is he going to have the Q? The answer is no, and the turnaround is stunning. Instantly destroys the Vlad.
No way for him to know when the right time was, and it was the right time as Evelyn was walking away, but Evelyn's on that side of the map. They just about salvaged the kill.
That was so close to Tana going down before that, before Malrong's huge burst.
3 more Teemos left as the Evelyn. You don't get there in time, Atlas, so
yeah.
Very, very important to arrive. That means that Kingzone, all they can do is try to just put up some sort of a defense around the Baron. Even when Rascal respawns, there's no teleport in order to respond.
And it's just so hard to play these side lanes as if they're 1v1s unless you know exactly where Malrong is, and now he's just getting stronger and stronger.
So what I like from a team in this scenario is kind of random control ward placements, i.e. control ward placements that aren't just I'm spotting for an objective, but more I'm scouting where Evelyn might be. Even as a defensive tool, they can be so important because otherwise, how do you ever side lane?
Yeah.
You know, you're asked to side lane as Vladimir without teleport against an Evelyn. Either you're grouping, which is the safest thing to do, or you're getting some help from your team. They do neither, and that means that Rascal's in a really awkward spot.
Well, now Rascal is in the mid lane. Aeon down towards the bottom side. Does have Malrong here. His control wards are littered. On Kingzone's side, they should be able to take this. Ocean Drake's not a lot of reasons for Jin Air to contest at this point unless they want to deny some Elder Drake's strength, but it goes down extraordinarily quickly.
Here's a thought I want to run by you.
Run by a thought by me.
I feel like when you watch a lot of League or play a lot of League, as we have during our long, long tenures with the game, you kind of have a feel for how much damage a champion does, right? You kind of like, I feel like I never know what to expect from Evelyn.
I feel like she can either do 0 or 100% of your health.
So I don't know what like the average of that is. It's not 50%, right? Because it's either 0 or 100 every time.
I think it's either
it's
like
so
you've
weird.
got a
I never
game
know
where
what
you
to think.
do 1 billion damage or you don't, you know?
She is definitely the most unpredictable, because damn does she do a lot of damage when it's going.
Yep. Well, there's the nerf to Aurelia, by the way. Tana just demonstrated it. Not able to find the stun onto Neon.
Evelyn might have been spotted. There's a control ward spot that you wouldn't expect. I like this one. This is great.
Yeah.
Why would you scout this area?
That's true. Not actually going to get spotted, though. He's actually floating around the area.
Has no idea, though.
Yeah.
And now gets the info.
Spots it. Yep. That's actually a big deal. Immediately pings from Jin Air.
Oh, because even just spotting the Eve there means you can walk towards Baron and know that the Eve is in position to contest Baron. So, like the control ward spots, and they're doing, I know what we're talking about this, all of the river controlled and a deep one. And now Vlad is very much on high alert bot side.
Yeah, so Vladimir knows not going to be able to walk up in Tides of Blood. This minion wave, as Rascal's actually going to run towards it.
Does he check it? Does he check it?
This is super dangerous. The charm is going to land. Hemoplague goes down. And there's the flash. Malrong's able to pick that one up and not going to die to any Hemoplagues here. You can see Kingzone now trying to play the rest of the map in response, but what is there to get?
With Def walking down, nothing. They don't try to use Windwall to try to rush down a Baron, too risky against the enemy team. Just a death there. That one I knew was going to kill. I was confident on the amount of execution damage coming out. The rich get richer. The Evelyn has the bounty now. And Jin Air are fighting back. And again, for our league's competitive sense, it's nice to see that Jin Air are not in pushover status at the moment.
Yeah, not just yet. How do they win the game, though, Pubsmithy? How does this composition take a win? Is it like this? Is it through a side lane, having the Aurelia be unanswerable, especially if Kingzone have to assume there's an Aurelia close?
Here's the check.
Yeah, Yeah,
Jace was
going down
backing.
extremely fast.
Grace out of mana.
Malrong's not going to be here. He's walking in heels. Papa Smithy once again, the teleport to come in from the Vladimir as Windwall is super powerful and the Baron goes to King Zone. Tana not even deciding to make his way over. Didn't think he could help, and the minion wave is going to fall down.
A very fortuitous time for you to ask the question about how did Jin Air to win. It was to be catch people, but they were caught themselves. With too much lax control around the Baron, Kingzone couldn't realistically do it again and again. But in the push and pull, Jin Air's remaining members couldn't really put vision around the Baron. And Kingzone take the bait. They actually just annihilate the Baron, and suddenly they've got Baron. You kind of have to come to them. And then it's one cask away from a nice wombo combo.
Well, Malrong probably going to have to kill Rascal one more time. Doesn't have his stopwatch anymore, of course. Used that much earlier on in this game and really wants to be able to pick up that Zhonya's as quickly as possible. We're going to see this one again. Rascal's a healthy boy. Doesn't have a lot of resistance, though. And, yeah, this ultimate's going to get him.
844 outside damage there with the execution. Notice that Malrong is pure damage, no stasis even, on the defensive side. So
he always has a Lich Bane.
Exactly.
My god, that burst from this.
But you really want to stop watching a moment like this because now you have to march to the beat of Kingzone because they have Baron. Therefore, you can die to AoE very swiftly.
Yes. Especially with Def doing so much damage now, having the Infinity Edge built up. You can see Tucson waiting off to the side, does have quickness available, and if he's outside of vision, then that can be much more surprising. Cuz making his way in, he's very, very fast.
Look at Kingzone, they're so scared to even play 2 lanes because of the Evelynn. They're finally going to bring up that second minion wave. You always have to bring up multiple. We've had teams not be able to navigate this as we've watched last week. Finally walk up, Cuz trying to spot, and he's mostly just a keep the Evelynn away bot as much as possible.
Yeah, just trying to make sure that they have vision available of that Evelynn. Task is going to go down, vision there for Jin Air, as Kingzone have just been using their sweepers so liberally due to the fact that they need to find out where this Evelynn is.
They do not know.
Yeah, inner turret's going to go down though, and Malrong has held on to all of his buttons. He's thinking about going for Cuz here, waiting for someone to start this fight off. Malrong understands that he can probably just kill Def. Windwall comes in and Malrong's position is now known to Kingzone. Tana was utilizing this time to head towards the bottom lane inhibitor turret, and you could see Rascal playing so defensively. And I don't think it has anything to do with the 1v1. He was just scared that there could have been a potential Malrong.
Exactly. You just have to always play like Evelynn's there, especially when you've been kind of caught as many times as Rascal has, because the Evelynn has been camping around the Aurelia. Was able to just hug the inhibitor turret, and that's where the terrain advantage around inhibitors really does help on the defensive.
Ooh,
Here's the chase.
Yeah, he's going to land the Chilling Smite. Cuz gets the flash, throws out the ult, but no one's in range. No Yasuo is there just yet as Neon throws down the wind wall for some vision so he can sweep his way over to these Krugs. And that's all Cuz is going to get for his efforts on the bottom side of the map.
Rascal says, thank you very much. Now I don't have to deal with a Aurelia with flash. Here's E.
Yeah, in goes Malrong, but Neon's going to survive. Immediately the E falls down, but that's a fantastic final spark that gets Neon and Tucson extraordinarily low, and Kingzone have to back away.
Kingzone full collapse. Jace wasn't there, so that its low health bars are not standing gold for Jin Air to pick up. Kingzone get to back away, and getting that bounty on Malrong, a tasty one.
Yeah, Neon's Sterix Gauge, definitely a good item at this stage.
Otherwise would have died. In this particular case, we talked about no stasis on the full damage build. Does go down, no Zonians, no stopwatch. No problem for Kingzone, they get the kills, but Jace not being there means no counter kills for Jin Air.
Yeah, Jin Air, if they had that Jace, I mean, an Empowered Shock Blast kills both of those instantly, right? That could have been the ace that they were looking for. In the end, it's Kingzone just walking away with one of the kills and putting Malrong in the Death Chamber for a little bit of time to make sure that Kingzone can now play with a little bit more safety. You can see Hex Drinker has been built up by Def. Not sure whether that's saving him anytime soon.
He has Featherstorm, so at least he has
ways to mitigate some of the damage, right?
QSS is just not enough magic resist. Like, you can't. It sounds like QSS ult is all you need, but you kind of need to have your wits around you. Hex Drinker, Flash, and ult actually does just about provide more, even though the sticky situation is implied. Mostly because how often does Evelynn get her kill with the damage amp on Charm? Almost never in Pro Play.
No, she just murders you straight up. Is generally how it's done. I wouldn't mind Def picking up a Bloodthirst for this game. Could be an option. Alongside that, more of Malmortius, but Maybe just wants to go for a GA for some added layer of safety. Barrel's going to come through, does actually clip Malrung just a little bit there, but unable to actually find out where the Evelynn is.
Jace is solo pushing topside when they've lost map control. I feel like he needs to back off as soon as possible. Gets the turret, but I don't think the turret gold matters with the game in the balance like it is right now.
Yeah, not an outer turret on the top side of the map. It's not really going to give you too much control as Deft soaks a true shot barrage. If Malrung was there, Deft was dead. That is just how that's going to work, but the couple is going to go back home. See whatever other items Deft can pick up. It is going to be heading towards more of Mount Mortius. Does have himself the Caulfield's Warhammer. Just needs to complete that one, 950.
Jungler's high level in this game, almost matching the solo laners.
And I feel like this is a tale of two junglers, right? Like, if Jin Air are going to win this game, it's going to be off the back of Malrung executing correctly, and Cuz has been navigating a lost early game very, very well. Now 3-0 and 4. Very close to 100% kill contribution.
Problem for Jin Air again, though, is 2 games in a row. These Jace Ezreal, Zoe Ezreal comps.
Oh, Barrel comes down from Cuz. He finds Malrung, who has to flash.
Could have ulted over the wall like Tarzan. Chose to flash, though.
Yeah.
Wants to keep the damage around him.
Also didn't want to get flashed on by Cuz, something like that. Maybe felt like the flash was a better option. Hold on to that option in case the flash does come to follow, as Kingzone, they're looking to fight around this Baron that has just respawned. Tana in the mid lane. Minion wave is equalized on bottom side of the map. So Tana's going to have to do a lot of pushing to get that one up yet again. Root, big shield coming out from the W of Kellen. Jin Air is still trying to get access to this river. Malrung trying to flank. Rascal, you can see, he's standing up to the side, just trying to deny the Malrung entry into this battle as Deft off on his own just a little bit. Powered Shock Blast doesn't do that much damage to him, however, and he does have Tucson lying in wait.
Now 2 have to respond to the pathing game. Even Root has to respect the engage from Tucson, so it's not quite Eve levels of threat, but it's still a lot of engage range. They walk around, and Jin Air's problem here is it's never been able to siege Atlas with their siege core over 2 games. And now you're team fighting with a 0-3 Jace that could work, but more often than not doesn't.
Well, Deft actually just checking with his Blade Caller. Didn't know that anyone from Jin Air was there. There were 5 members. Surprise, surprise. And this Triple Ocean is doing a lot of work.
In moments like this, yeah, because it's a lot of tete-a-tete and to disengage and to re-engage.
I mean, Deft took almost his whole health bar as the ult comes in. Here's the combo from the boys, but Grace is able to flash over the wall. He's going to be all right.
No flash on the Jace is now going to make him slower to respond. Baron start instantly by Kingzone. Jin Air need to be there fast. Can they?
Well, they're going to try. True Shot Barrage does come in, but there's the wind wall. That's a big cooldown now that has been used as Malrung is going to come forward. The turn now coming in. They knew that Evelynn could get into that pit. Light Binding not acted on as now they're going to take it. The Baron is going to go down. Evelynn just dies immediately. Rascal just popped her somehow as Neon's able to flash to get himself out of the way. Tucson does fall, but in goes Rascal into the backline. He's exhausted, but he's not exhausted enough. Featherstorm comes in, but Grace outranges it just barely. But Deft is on the hunt. He's looking for Kellen. He's looking for this flashless Jace, but the Light Binding says no.
Trying to chase them and make sure they can't recall. Cuz continues to walk up. We'll check the brush.
Yep, Barrel's going to come in. That means Jace has to stop the back, but Inhibitor is broken, and they're just trying to stop the backs here. Cuz comes in. Kellen has to stop his. The Brambleback looking to try and stop Jason's, but he's able to go home. Neon's here does a hell of a lot of damage to these turrets, as does Rascal. You can see Grace. He did make it back home, but didn't even get off the fountain with full health because he couldn't. The Nexus is now exposed. The Jace is well and truly dead. Malrung gets on in here, but oh no, the pull not actually used. Doesn't matter. Neon's going to finish off the Nexus at 2-0 for Kingzone DragonX. But Jin Air put up a really good fight in this series. Tail of the tape isn't a 2-0 stomp. It's a 2-0 slugfest between these two teams. And Malrung played some really good early game League of Legends.
And I completely echo the point you're making. The post-game thread doesn't do justice. The Kingzone were made to sweat 2 games in a row from different ways. So they did not necessarily make this the 1v10 giant killing attempt from Jin Air. This was just 2 teams slugging on the Rift and Kingzone being a little bit smarter, a little bit better. But the little bit part is relevant when Kingzone is trying to take down the field after a lot of their hard games have already been played. Really nice performance on the Evelynn coming through on the side of Jin Air, like that one from Malrung, after so many other AP junglers were contested, kind of had to fall back onto someone. We were wondering, it's going to be the Rumble, it's going to be the Eve. The Eve looked good, it made some inroads, but Kingzone get over the line. They fumble, but they get the 2-0.
They do, and look, Naeon in that mid lane playing the Yasuo. I felt like Pawn was back on the Rift, Papa Smithy. This was some of the highlight plays that we saw out of Kingzone when Cuz was ripping it up on his Gragas in spring season. But that was with Pawn there on the roster, a guy that was notably a crazy Yasuo player that would always go for the plays, always go for the ults on any knocked up target. Naeon was basically that player here today when he's known for utility, he's known for casters, he's known for mages. Yasuo looked just as good.
And Pawn was known to be a polarizing player. High highs, low lows, that's his whole career. But you kind of expected that Naeon would kind of steady the ship a bit, but you assumed that a lot of those high highs would never be emulated. You assumed that the overall kind of carry performances would naturally decrease. If there was 8 pop-off Pawn games and 8 bad Pawn games, you thought you'd get the, like, 4 bad games and, like, 2 pop-off games. Well, that's not what's happened. Naeon has been one of our real kind of MVP candidates from the mid lane because he's been able to never really be the reason his team has fallen apart, but also had great games. These were self-made Yasuo ults again and again, rather than just, oh, wait for the generous hitbox on the cast to do all the heavy lifting. So big shout out to Naeon, my MVP vote for this game number 2. Smiles continue. The victories come in. We'll have to inspect Kingzone in the future, though, because they did not necessarily convince anyone new. No conversions from Kingzone and their candidacy based on the manner of the victory over Jin.
Yeah, they certainly didn't roll over Jin Air, but Jin Air also didn't look like pushovers here today. It wasn't the Jin Air from spring that was just a free victory and we were gauging people on how they won the race of beating Jin Air in time, you know, like check the clock to see who's going to be the better team. It's not the same Jin Air. This is the team that, you know, took games off SKT, took games off Damwon. Like, they're not the same beast that they were in the past. However, this is still some worrying signs for Kingzone, especially bottom side of the map, getting 2v2 killed when we have been talking about Tucson and Deft as our best bottom lane that we have.
And that's another plus point for Jin Air. But what we will say, small caveat on our own point, is that Jin Air weren't no-hopers in week 3 of spring. It was around week 6 where we were like, man, they're just, it's too much losing.
Where one loss bled into
stacked up too much, and there were just those best of ones where you're like, I mean, they didn't really hit the rift this game. So this is an honorable loss. Jin Air should be proud of their performance in a 10v1 scenario, and yet we don't know if it means happier times in the future, whether they can pay it forward, because we need to be proven that as well.
And we're going to have a look at some of the good moments that came in here from Jin Air, I think. I think we might see some of the Malrung pop-offs, but nope, this is not one of them. This is where Tana fell down and Malrung just, he wanted to take them heels off and run, Papa Smithy, but he couldn't do it. Couldn't afford the time to reach down.
No barefoot assassinations from the Evelynn. This does a lot of damage to Naeon when he shows up, but you know, they were going to pick up the kill there by hook or by crook. Kingzone do it by hook or by crook. Could repeat that analogy, but what a weird series, right? Game number 1 with the mid lane turret up for 38 minutes. Oh, baby. Yep, that was a win wall for sure.
That's why he got the MVP for me.
Game number 2 with a fed Evelynn not reading Tarzan or Spirit on the nameplate.
Yep.
I wonder how many unique Evelynn players we've had. I want to say, I mean, in the most recent Evelynn, not including Bengi in this, he was a Evelynn player of repute in the past, probably 4 or 5.
Clearlove is the Evelynn player.
That's right, over in the LPL. Clearlove a bit of a ghost at the moment because JAG looks so good.
Yeah, exactly.
On that roster. A lot of replays, a lot of good moments for Jin Air around the Eve, but when it was no longer the mind game of is it Irelia plus Eve or not, then it was an Evelynn with no stasis, no Zonias, and no life. Let's watch this last one where he kind of died instantly.
Yeah, he just got exploderized in the backline. With how I read it, as Rascal diving on him with the Tides of Blood, he was exhausted throughout that and still did the majority of the health bars of 3 people at the same time. Late game Vladimir, everyone. That's what we've come to expect here, but not necessarily from Rascal. I mean, he's played the Vladimir a lot, but it's been up and down performances.
이블린 노공이야? 이블린 노공.
Saying that Evelyn has no ult, and that quick call meant that Cuz could go get the first kill if the ult Sari might have tried to help out Rascal.
Yep.
And then from there, just nowhere for Marung to go.
Yeah, not entirely sure. We don't have G-Sun. She's getting ready for some translation.
Here's a teaching for you guys. Goong was a Najin mid laner, also means ult.
Ah, that's cool.
So that's when he says Evelyn no Goong, it means Evelyn no ult.
And I never knew that.
No bull, it's either bull or bull is flash, but Goong is ult. Alright, those are the ones you'll hear.
Well, there we go. Papa Smithy teaching me some Korean. Absolutely fantastic stuff. What was also fantastic was the damage out of the Evelyn. 17.2k, highest in the game.
Yeah.
He was certainly trying to carry his team. Just wasn't quite enough. And Kingzone's break back into the middle of this game was absolutely exceptional. Largely on the back of both Cuz and, of course, Neon there on that Yasuo. Wasn't exactly the nature of the victory that I was expecting out of Kingzone. Of course, I think everyone was expecting a 2-0, but a much more exciting series and not a series that feels depressing to commentate as well. As MVP is going to go to Rascal. And he had some great plays, but I'm a bit sad.
Give it to the smiley boy. You know he's smiling and be like, "Oh, great job, Rascal." But I hope on the inside he's only smiling a little bit. I want some anger. No tears required, no sad faces, but some, hey, I played a good game here on the Yasuo. Not going to be respected by the voters when it comes to aggregate. Rascal did clean up some of these late game team fights, but cleaning up a no-stasis Evelyn, sadly for the Evelyn, pretty easy to do.
And you know, I believe the only player on Kingzone that hasn't got an MVP is Dev.
I think, yes, I was going to say.
Yep.
And you know who's the happiest person about that?
Chovy. Okay, yeah, Dev.
Too soon. Too damn soon!
I'm sorry. We're going to have to take me off the mic, so let's put in G-Sun for the interview.
Thank you very much, guys. This is G-Sun to Taste last interview translation, and we're going to be hearing from Tusin Rascal from Kingdom DragonX. Tusin, how was today's game? Well, first, because we lost to Africa last time, we just wanted to kind of cheer up. So 2-0 victory is very meaningful for us. And Rascal, game number 1. Well, Jinair had their mid lane turret up till a very late game. And game number 2 was not that easy as well. So how was today's game? Well, we could have made cleaner games, but yeah, feels bad that we weren't able to do that. But it was a clean 2-0 victory anyways. So Tusin, game number 1, your Nautilus was on point. Especially your hook shots was fantastic. Any tips? Well, I think that was my role for game number 1. We didn't have any skill to initiate any fights, so I was the one to open fights. And actually, the hitbox for Nautilus is really huge than it shows, so I think I was able to kind of pull up some good plays. In game number 1, the decision in the very late game was actually really smart because Neon was the only one staying in the Dragon, and you just went to all the rest of the players just swifted. Well, actually, it was really easy to predict that Junior players were going to try Baron. We knew that they were going to just burst Baron, so rest of the players was heading up there. We're just trying to cope with the situation slowly. Well, sad that we weren't able to pick up the Baron there, but actually, it was a very big predictable one. So Neon was keep pushing mid lane. Whose decision was that? He just said he's gonna do it, but the rest of the 4 should have played better. So he was like, "I'll just gonna push mid and do your best in the team fights." So moving on to game number 2, Junior locked in Evelyn. It must be very stressful, right? Well, Vladimir, it's a great champion with a lot of skill sets to survive. So at first, it didn't really bother me. But after getting just one comboed by Evelyn, yeah, it was a little bit intimidating. Yeah, there were some of the struggles, but we had this. It's very impressive highlights over here. The super save on the Kingzone side. You were really calm and cool-headed. What went through your head in that moment? Well, I was like, maybe she might camp here, and she was actually really there, so I was really surprised. And you have a lot of backups over there. And you finally won that skirmish. So we are seeing a lot of successive play from Yasuo Gragas duo, especially in King Zone. Is that a favorite duo in King Zone? I mean, like, Cuz is so good at putting in a lot of damage with Gragas, so we have a huge trust in Yasuo Gragas composition. So your next opponent will be Damwon Gaming. They are also on a 3 games winning streak, so how are we going to prepare for that? Well, I think I really did poorly today, so we have to improve. So in the next game, we're going to just prepare as hard as we can. We actually never lost to Damwon Gaming yet, so I'm going to keep it that way. And Rascal, would you like to add on to that? Well, I just also, there were some of the oopsie moments in today's games, so I'll do my best to get rid of those plays, and I want to make sure to come back with cleaner performance up against Damwon. This will be the end of the interview with Tusin Rascal from Kingzone DragonX back in their performance, and I'm gonna pass it back to our casters. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ji-sun, for your interview translation. Great to hear from Tusin and Rascal. Tusin saying that he needs to tidy things up a little bit.
Wasn't his best series, didn't need to be, ended up being a victory for Kingzone, but the 2-0 does flatter them a little bit. Jin Air, it's not like they could ever actually threaten the close, but they were competitive in both games. I'm thinking we need to nickname Neon the Smiling Assassin after some great pictures of him were tweeted out by Kenzie. Still smiling at all points. Kingzone should be smiling. They are the first to 4-1.
And also the first to solo first place as well. But this is only day number 1. Certainly an opportunity for Griffin to equalize.
And we just still don't know who's good and who's not good. I feel like I can't tell you for sure which team will be up the top. It does feel like Jin Air, it's going to be down the bottom, but 1 through 9 could go in a lot of different directions, even if right now our MSI representatives are down the bottom.
Yeah, and it's sort of feeling like Hanwha as well is struggling to find an identity. KT is still trying to figure out exactly what they want to do, but I think our top 3 right now in Afrika, Kingzone, and Griffin are looking